everyone. So I wanted to take a minute and just kind of do a rapid fire question type of thing for you. So I decided to pick 25 things about me that you may not know. First of all, I'm 41 years old and I am a Virgo, but not technically just a regular Virgo. I was born only a few hours away from being a Libra, so that would classify me as a Virgo with a Libra cusp. I also have a moon in Aquarius and a rising sign in Taurus. As you can tell, I like astrology. And if you're interested in Chinese astrology, I fall under the category of a snake. The next thing is I do have pets. I have 3 cats right now, a couple of fish, and also a blue snail in the fish tank. I know, a little unusual, but I like the unusual things. And all of my cats are rescues, so I do believe in helping anybody that needs to have their animals rehomed or taking them from a shelter or a foster situation instead of actually buying any animals. There are way too many out there that need loving homes. The next question I get asked sometimes is about best friends, and I would have to classify my mom as my best friend. It's pretty much been the two of us my entire life, so we've gotten very close. Every once in a while the roles change a little bit. I do become the mom and she becomes the daughter, but it's definitely a very strong relationship. A lot of people, when they first meet us, they actually think we're sisters. So that's kind of nice that I have been able to get that type of a bond with my mom. My favorite color is blue. My favorite cuisine is a little hard for me to describe. I don't like American food, but I love any type of world cuisine. If I had to actually nail it down, I would probably say my go-to cuisine would be Thai food. I also really like making Thai food. As far as my home decor goes, I also fall into that love of Asian style, so it doesn't really matter if it's Japanese, Chinese, Thai. I like any type of style that's like that. You'll see pictures in future videos probably of my photos that I have of the cherry trees, or else my Buddha picture that I have on the wall. So I do really like more of a world look to the house. I was actually married. I am currently divorced, and I was married for 12 years. Leading into my next fun fact, I do not have any kids. A lot of people wonder how I made it through a 12-year marriage without any kids. That was pretty much by choice, and also the type of a situation that I was in with my marriage. Next random fact would be I do actually have my bachelor's degree in alternative medicine. I also minored in nutrition. And originally I wanted to actually go to college to be a marine biologist. But when I got out of my marriage, I realized that health was really a big part of my life at that time, and I really wanted to learn a lot of different aspects of it. And so my next one would be I was born in Wisconsin. Yes, I am a cheddarhead. For those of you in Wisconsin and Midwest, you know what that means. I then moved down to Florida when I was 14 years old, and I briefly did move up to Pennsylvania when I was married, but after the divorce, I quickly moved back to Florida to be with my family. I keep looking down, I have notes. My 12th fun fact is I am more of an intuitive when it comes to, a head over heart type of thing. I have had a very strong connection with animals throughout my life. I can usually tell what they're feeling, if they need any type of help. I was that kid that was always at the park, and I could actually be on the other side of it and all of a sudden be like, I really want to see the deer, and all of a sudden deer would come out of the woods. So that was kind of a neat thing. My favorite job would be florist. I really liked combining the earth element with my creativity and just creating something that brought so much joy to a person when they were either going through a really great time in their life or a real crappy time in their life. it was just really nice seeing them smile. My favorite job as far as volunteering, this is a title that they gave me when I was working there, but during my end of my high school years, beginning of my college years, I actually volunteered at the SPCA and I worked with the cats. They actually referred to me as a cat therapist because for the year that I was there helping them, they only had issues with 2 of the cats that they didn't think that they would be able to place. All of the other ones I was able to help rehabilitate so that they could find loving homes. My 15th fun fact is about my hobbies. I've got a lot of hobbies, but my favorite one is probably being a nature photographer. I just like grabbing the camera and going out when I really need to get grounded and de-stress. And I think I really got a love of photography from my dad. He was a photographer for a while, and one of my memories that I have of him is going to the dark room. And at that time it was all film photography, and you had to go into this room where you went through, and there was this little door that had to go around you so that none of the light could get in, and just smelling the different chemicals that they had in there. It was just really cool seeing something come off of a page that was originally blank. It was really impactful and something that I still stick with me to this day. For those of you wondering, yes, I said I was divorced and I am currently single. I really don't have a problem with being single. I actually really like it. But there are those times when you just really do want to come home after a hard day and have someone to talk to. And for me, I love cooking, so someone to cook for and just sit down on the couch and cuddle with. It's something you kind of lose track with and hope that something's coming around the corner. But I'm also to that point where I will not settle, and I want a loving partnership this time instead of just being in a relationship. Weird fact, but I thought it was really cool, is my favorite planet. For some reason, even when I was a little kid, when we had to do those school reports on the solar systems, I would always pick Saturn. And ironically, the car that I had for the last 18 years was a Saturn. And I loved that little 3-door car until it completely died and I had to go get a new one now. But there's just something about that planet that constantly drew me to it. My favorite plant would be orchids, and I'm not talking about those that you see at most of the grocery stores. I like the really weird, funky looking orchids that look like they could be, insects or really weird things. And that's why you'll notice I do the Orchid Festival that is in the Tampa Bay area. And every year I get these really cool pictures from it. For instrument, I figured that would be a neat question to ask. I actually grew up wanting to learn the drums, but Mom said no. So I did take piano lessons for a while, but it just wasn't really something that meshed with my personality. I'm, an earth sign. I like the deeper sounds of things. And I, for a while, kind of wanted to learn maybe guitar, but when I found out I would lose my nails, I said, nope, not losing my nails. So as of right now, don't really play any instruments, but I do love music. Let's see, which brings me to my 20th thing that you might want to know about me is my favorite show. And this kind of bounces around, but for the moment, I am completely obsessed with The Masked Singer, which a lot of you probably know what that is. They have all these different people dressed up in character costumes. They've got the monster and they've got the rabbit, and you don't know who they are. They could be anyone from an actor to an athlete to a TV personality. You never know who they could be. And it's really cool to see their personalities come out in these characters along with their voices. I mean, some of these people, oh my God, their voices are amazing. I can't wait to see who they are. So that's one thing that I immediately go to the DVR. Mom and I watch that. I come over every time that it tapes so that we can see that. The next one would be my favorite book. And for that, I don't read any really fiction, but I do like a lot of self-help, any type of informative books. And I'd have to say my favorite author is Anthony William. He's the author of the Medical Medium line, and I really just love how he takes the energetics of food and how it relates to our body. It is more of an intuitive approach to me to like even Chinese medicine. It kind of integrates Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine in there. And you'll notice when I start getting into my recipes that I do follow a lot of more energetic principles when I create my different recipes. 22 would be, yes, I have actually appeared on TV. It was once a couple years ago. It was on a show called We Beam TV, and they went around and talked to all of the local business owners just to kind of get them out into the community so that people could learn about what they do and how they actually got there, what their story was. And that was definitely something very interesting. You know, you get on set and you've got all these cameras around, all these lights and the green screens in the background, and they're telling you here's kind of what we're going to be doing, and they get you mic'd and everything. And it was a really interesting experience. The one thing I did take away from that was I was really happy with myself. I didn't say a lot, which I know I did say a few times in this one, but I don't know how I keep doing it. I blinked so much, and I actually think my very first video that I did for YouTube, I was blinking a lot. And it's really weird because you don't see yourself doing it, but when you watch the video back, it's like, what the heck is going on with my eyes? So hopefully I'll get better with that as I start doing videos for you guys. One thing that you will find out about me as I do my videos too, I was actually born sick. I mean, I popped right out. I went into an incubator, had needles put in me, and from that day, my health always wasn't really great. I mean, as soon as you're born, being pumped with medications, of course, your system is going to take a huge hit because you're so vulnerable at that time. And I pretty much was surviving throughout my life, but at the age of 14, I took a complete and total crash for my body, and I was diagnosed with over 12 different conditions, most of which I still don't agree with. And at that time at 15, they basically came down and said, we don't really know what's wrong with you. We've been giving you all these labels. Unfortunately, there's really nothing else we can do. You're just going to have to live with it, which I think is probably one of the reasons why I'm also really into health and nutrition, because I mean, come on, what type of people actually tell a 15-year-old kid who is trying to deal with all these social pressures anyways, hey, guess what? You're sick. We don't know why, and you're just going to have to deal with it. So I didn't feel that's really right. And now looking back, I really think that food and my environment were a big contributor to all of the medical issues that I was having and pretty much was dealing with through up to my 30s. So it wasn't really until after I started looking at what I was eating and how I was living that everything's really started to calm down. The only time that I really get flare-ups anymore is when I get really, really stressed, mentally, physically, emotionally. If everything kind of comes in at me at once, my body will take a hit. All right, for collections, I do have a collection, and it's a little bit of a weird one. It's where my metaphysical background comes in. I love crystals. Okay, so I probably should say I'm obsessed with crystals, just a little bit. And I've got them all over the house. I love the freaky looking ones, the ones that aren't that common. And you'll actually see every once in a while, I'll start the day out and be like, okay, what do I need with me to help out just a little bit for that day? And I'll put some in my pocket. Like right now, I actually have a giant chunk of merlinite. It's one that's really good for creating the magic in your life. So I figured that would be a really good one for me to have today. And then the 25th thing you may not know about me is I am a total eclectic. And this is basically in every part of my life. It doesn't matter if it's movies or music or hobbies. I'm kind of, I don't want to say all over the place, but I just love learning about things regardless of what they are. And it really depends on my mood also with what I'm watching or listening to. I actually think a little bit of that might be attributed to the fact that I'm a Virgo with a Libra cusp. Libras have a tendency to have a hard time to decide on things, but then you get the Virgo in who loves learning about everything. So I know a lot of stuff about a lot of things, just haven't mastered a lot of those things yet. So if there's anything that you would like to know a little bit more about me, please leave a comment down below, and hopefully I'll do a video for that in the future. And if you also like my channel, please make sure you remember to subscribe. And also, if you want to get notifications without having to constantly check my schedule, please go ahead and click the bell button down there so you get notifications. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.